In Oakland County, there's a very important date that is coming up, and that is the Point in Time count, a comprehensive effort to count and survey people experiencing homelessness on a single night in January each year. And here to tell us more about what this means for Oakland County, we have the president and CEO of the Community Housing Network, Kirsten Elliott, joining us right now on The Splash. Kirsten, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I am great. Really happy to have you with us and really happy to be getting into this conversation. So I just went over a little bit on what the point in time count is, but describe it a little more for the overall, for people who may not have ever heard of something like this, what it really means for the people of West Bloomfield or for the people of Oakland County.
Absolutely. So the point in time count, we've been doing the point in time count in Oakland County and actually across this country since 2007. And it's a night where we go out within the last 10 days of January. So every community across the country is doing this right now. And essentially it's to get a count of all of our sheltered and unsheltered folks that are experiencing homelessness. And the reason why this is so important is because that gives us a way to see, are our interventions helping? Where does funding need to be reallocated? Who are we seeing that is showing up in our shelters or who are experiencing homelessness out on the street? And so that can help us know where we need to tailor our services to.
All very important things. And yes, it's great to have these resources and to have this information to help people who might be experiencing something like this. And Kirsten, what have you seen throughout Oakland County in terms of the homelessness rates throughout the last few years?
Absolutely. So we did see a little dip during the pandemic, and that was there was a lot of extra funding available to help people stay housed and stay in their homes so that everybody could be safe. We are seeing an uptick. Last year across the country, we saw an 18% increase in homelessness, and it was a little lower here in Oakland County, but we did see an uptick in it. One of the fastest growing populations that we're seeing right now in our homeless population is older persons. So people who are 55 and older, we're seeing them, that population increase, which is definitely on track with how our populations are trending, but it is definitely worrisome.
I can imagine. So it's something that you don't want anyone to deal with. You wouldn't wish this on your worst enemy. And what have been some of the things you've seen around our area, around West Bloomfield?
So within West Bloomfield, we're seeing definitely, so there is that perception that there is no homelessness in West Bloomfield. A lot of times the folks that are kind of like under the cover, some of them are doubled up, people who are have housing instability, and they might not be what we call literally homeless, living out on the streets or in a place not meant for human habitation, but they are doubled up. They are needing to have housing assistance. And the reason why it's so important that we address this issue across all of our communities in Oakland County is because it affects everybody. If a family member or if you have an employee who is having housing instability, that means you're going to have higher turnover, and that employee might not be able to get to work, or their kids might not be able to get to school. And so really, for communities to thrive, we really want to be able to make sure that everybody has that housing. And so in West Bloomfield, we've been seeing definitely, when we go out and canvass, what we get is we get a lot of individuals, or we'll canvass like Target, we'll canvass the gas stations and different like Planet Fitness, and they'll say, oh yeah, we know this person, they're living in their van behind here. And so we are able to then help them, give them the resources so that we can work and have our outreach teams follow up and go back out and meet with them. But they're there.
That's absolutely right. And sometimes, like you said, it's not the typical homeless picture that you see in your mind. It can be in many different ways. But whatever the way, it needs to help be prevented. For those just joining us right now, we have Kirsten Elliott, the president and CEO of the Community Housing Network, joining us right now on the Splash Live to talk about the Oakland Point in Time count that's coming up very, very soon. And Kirsten, I want to get into a little bit on what Community Housing Network does to help these people who are dealing with homelessness or are dealing with financial struggles that might lead them to homelessness. What are some of the things you help to do to help get these people back on their feet?
Absolutely. So, Community Housing Network, our mission is to empower people to live in affordable homes so that all of our communities can thrive. And it is essential. So we do everything from street outreach and helping people if they're living in their cars, living out on the street, to get connected to housing and other resources that they would need to get into housing. We also provide permanent housing and we provide rapid rehousing. And those are programs that are designed for folks that are homeless to get rapidly housed so that they can start to rebuild their lives and get into recovery or get employed and get back into school and to be part of a thriving community. We of course don't want anybody to become homeless in the first place. And so we really work on prevention and diversion and helping people to connect and with other resources that they might have, helping them to brainstorm and think of different ways, getting connected to other prevention funds. So last year, we helped over 17,000 people, and we've invested over $12.5 million back into the community. That's directly to participants to help keep them housed. And again, it's about that prevention, and it's about making sure that people don't get into the situation to begin with. And so we also work with families and who have family members with intellectual and developmental disabilities to help plan for and make sure that there is a housing situation that will help them to thrive and be independent in the community while meeting all of the needs of the family and that individual. So we do everything from the gamut. We do a lot.
You guys certainly do a lot, and it's because of that work that you are helping so many people, and we do thank you for that, Kirsten. And I understand that you guys also put a special emphasis on people with disabilities and their families to be helping them as well. Could you explain a little more on that?
Absolutely. So we work with Oakland Community Health Network, which is the behavioral health provider in Oakland County. And we have our Oakland Housing Link program, which is a program that helps family members and people with intellectual and developmental disabilities navigate housing. Housing is a very complex system. And when you have in finding accessible housing that will work in your budget, it can be very daunting. And so what we do is we have housing brokers that help family members plan and to learn how to develop, how to match roommates, and find housing that would be most appropriate for their loved ones. It's always a challenge. I have a son who has cerebral palsy, and I know it's just finding accessible housing that is affordable is very hard. And then making sure that he has the support that he needs to be able to live independently is also very important. So we work with all of the service providers in the community to make sure that everyone is housed and supported the way that they need to be.
That's great to hear about your personal connection to something like this. And in watching this interview, a lot of people might be inspired to get out and help themselves. And I'm curious, how can people help out with this cause if they're interested?
Absolutely. Well, obviously, monetary donations is always welcomed. We have volunteer opportunities. We also have a lot of opportunities to provide in-kind goods. So we do drives for cleaning supplies, welcome home baskets. You can go to communityhousingnetwork.org. Also, learn about housing instability, housing challenges, different policies that can help make a difference for individuals and families so that our community can thrive and that we all can participate equally in the community.
Well, really interested in hearing all of those great resources. And as a reminder for everyone, the Oakland County Point Time count is going to be taking place on Wednesday, January 29th. Kirsten, I got one more question before we let you go because we are running short on time. Is there any more information you can provide to the people of West Bloomfield about Oakland County Point Time?
The main thing that I would say, we already have all of our volunteers ready for the point in time count, is to be on the lookout for our volunteers. We will be out canvassing between 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. that night. And so if you see us and if we come into your business establishment asking, do you know of any individuals that are homeless, please do work with us and tell us where where people are at, if you know where that. And we really appreciate it because it really does take a whole community to do this. And we do canvass all of Oakland County, all 62 municipalities. So
it certainly does take a village, but it takes a lot of effort and hard work, and you are certainly helping to provide that. Kirsten, we thank you so much for your time in joining us on the Splash Live today.
I appreciate your time and thank you for the opportunity.